I don't know. I think we will survive. If you guys haven't heard, the government is going to shut down. That does mean that you're going to take all day tomorrow off, but not really. And I joke about this because they do this, I don't know, all the time. All the time. I can't remember. Since 1997, they haven't been in a position where they've passed an actual budget. It's always continuing resolutions. They're going to do this over and over again. Then over the next couple of days, they'll figure it out. Then they're all going to rush to the cameras, pat each other on the back on, we're really working hard for America, which we all know is a bunch of bullshit. They're just fighting over certain things. The reality is they're working hard to blame the other side for the problems of the shutdown. They're not actually trying to fix anything in any real way, shape, or form. Welcome to the magical world that we live in now. Let me tell you who blinks first. Whoever whoever decides, hey, you know what, the Republicans are guilty or the Democrats are guilty, whichever side gets blamed first by the public will be the side that blinks first. Okay, that we do know.
100% sure thing. In fact, senators are leaving right now. They're headed home for the night. The House is out of session, and the bill is about to fail. The bill that is the only real path out of a government shutdown. The Republican plan that actually passed the United States House last week, about a week and a half ago, largely along party lines that would keep the government open for 7 weeks, now will be blocked by Democrats in the Senate. The vote is now 53-44. It is still ongoing, but there are not enough votes to break a filibuster. It requires 60 votes to advance. Just 3 Democrats have voted to advance this bill. That includes Senator John Fetterman, who's someone who has long called for a...
Yeah, John Fetterman's like, he's my spirit animal in the Democratic Party because he's not insane. And who would have thunk it, right? The reality is whoever gets blamed for it first and the public really puts pressure on them, they'll blink. I think the Democrats probably will, but this isn't going to affect you or I. The only thing out of this that is frustrating is the military not getting paid. That's it. I mean, everybody else, even the people who get furloughed, by the way. So if you guys go back, was it 2019, Trump and the last government shutdown, that was real shutdown, they made a rule that, okay, even if you're furloughed, so even if they send you home where you don't work, so essentially you're not working, you're home, you're actually paid. They'll pay those people their money for missing work that the government shut down. Are you effing kidding me? I don't know how we get to this point. Government. And you wonder why, how are we broke? I don't know. It's magic. It is. You guys are just fantastic. You're doing a great job for America. We move from there, and I want to get to a couple things tonight. We're going to do a much longer one. We're doing a lot of work around here. I've been traveling, doing a whole bunch of stuff. And we have new cameras and stuff coming tomorrow, which will be awesome. This is today. Pete Hegseth gives this big speech today for the military. A lot of people are like wondering, what is it going to be? Are we going to war? Is it possible we could go to war? So I don't want to go to war. Is it possible? I'm not saying no, that we might not. I mean, the reality is there's a lot of stuff going on out there. And our buddy Mike Lyons, who's our military analyst, is on the radio show. We'll get him on here in the next week or so to talk about this stuff. And one of the things we were talking about today is there's a lot of moving parts. We're moving certain things in certain areas that make you think that maybe there's something there. And I'm hearing more and more from other people as well that there's a chance that Venezuela could be getting a visit in some way, shape, or form. What? I hope not. But I'm kind of I'm a libertarian, right? I am very, as much as you can be in this world, because I also live in a world of reality. So that's the other thing with libertarians is they always want to live in this other world of, we have borders and we need to have certain things. And there are bad people out there like do bad things. And one of the things about the military that I've always thought is military's for stomping around and breaking shit. Military's for kicking the hell out of the bad guys. Military's for a lot of things. It is not an experiment in social justice. So when I heard Pete Hegseth, who, again, this was more of a pep rally than anything else, some of the stuff he said today, I'm like, the warrior ethos, I've got no problem with this.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
I like it. I have no problem with that. The military is not a playground. It's not a place where it's not fat camp, any of that stuff. And you know, we already have an issue with recruiting in the military for a lot of reasons. And I'm going to give you guys some numbers to break this down for you. So, of the people that are service age eligible, so what they're looking to recruit, 17 to 24, that's roughly 33 million Americans. So education is going to wipe out 10 to 12% of young adults, okay? Arrest records will probably knock out somewhere around 10%. Health and fitness is the largest disqualifier, which is crazy. Over 70% of youth fail to meet the physical medical standards without a waiver. That includes things like obesity, asthma, mental health diagnosis, and drug use. Then you get to other factors: dependents, single parents, all right, often excluded, citizens, immigration status, must be U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, drug and alcohol use history is a big deal. Now, this is where you start to break it down. Only 23 to 25% of 17 to 24-year-olds meet the basic eligibility. So think about that. For all of those Americans, so we had 33 million Americans who are of the age that they're looking for. Of that, only about 25% meet the eligibility, so roughly 1 in 4. Out of that, though, right? So that takes it down to about 8 million people. Here's the issue. Even with all that, only 9%. So when you break that down, you're roughly looking at, say, 700,000-ish that meet the qualifications and want to serve. That is very tiny. If you expanded the whole USA population, the fraction is even smaller because the age group disqualifies many. So when you think about the fact there's only about 750,000 people that want to serve, and out of that, only 8 million are probably eligible to serve. That is scary. So we don't need any playing around. We don't. Now, the future is going to be different. The future is AI. The future is going to be robots. But it is not a place to fuck around. It's not. It's not a place for furries. It's not a place for, people who want to drag queen. It's not a place for any of those things. It is not, the climate idea. It's not any of those things. It is a place where you go to learn discipline, to challenge yourself, to serve your country and yourself and your countrymen and women. And it's a place eventually, when we get serious, it's about killing the other side a whole lot better than they try to kill us. It's about breaking shit. And we're good at that. We're the best at that. And a lot of times we break a lot of shit. We don't always put it back together right. But I have no problem with this. And I know a lot of people out there on the left like, well, I know. I had problems with what Trump said. And we'll touch on that in a second. But the warrior ethos, yes. We need that, right? This is not a play thing. This is not. And there's a lot of people that serve in many different amazing ways out there. And not everybody is a warrior that serves. But let's be real. There's a purpose and there's a reason that we have the military. This is what it is. All right. If you want to play around with the post office wants to have a special flag for a certain day or whatever this is, okay. I don't buy it with the military. That's not what it's about. Let's be honest about it. Then we get to what Trump said. So Trump comes out and he does this thing. It's like, it's really quiet. It's quiet. I don't know what that's all about. And then he says this. Now, you've got Portland, where he's sending, and I'm a big constitutionalist. You shouldn't be sending the military anywhere. I have less a worry about Portland if you're sending them to guard the ICE facility, in particular federal places. That's a different thing because Portland's been out of control. We recognize that. If you want to send them into cities to do crime fighting, well, I have a problem with that. All right. And let's be real. After the shooting last week in Dallas, and again, if you guys didn't hear today, so there was one killed last week as well as the shooter. And he shot 3. One of the 3 that survived, they took him off life support today, and he passed away. So now there's 2 that were being transported in custody, and they're dead. There's another one that's still in the hospital. So I have, when you're guarding federal places at a time when things are, so tense, I'll give a little leeway there. If you want to send them in to fight crime, once again, no. And I was talking to a couple buddies of mine who are in the military, one of which was there today, said, hey, we're the smash. We're not police. That's not what we do. We're not policing. Yes, they have the military police, but Trump's not sending in 250 military police officers. That's not what he's about in this situation. And then he said this, and this just made me go, what the hell are you talking about?
Defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly.
So he's hinting at, we're going to send the military into certain areas as kind of like, this will be a great training ground. No, it isn't. That's not what this is about. Several people, when I did my show today, text me, it's foreign and domestic, not cars, but we're going to protect ourselves. It's not what that means. The domestic side of things. There's no coup. I'm just trying to take over. There is no terrorist activity. The terror that's being done is street crime in a lot of these areas. Let's be honest. And I continue to go back to this. If Chicago wants to allow certain areas of their city to be battle zones, that is the city's issue. You keep voting the way that you're voting, you're going to keep getting what you get, and voila, there you go. On the other side of things, okay, we're sending them out here to Memphis. If Memphis has a problem with crime in certain areas, as they do, DC's different. It's federal area. These are cities. You're sending them in there. If they're going to guard federal things because you want to have a show, because a lot of this is about show, let's be honest. Again, okay, I guess that's what you're going to do. It is what it is, as long as they're, not on the streets. They're not engaging, not doing any of that stuff. That's not what they're about. If you want to use them to fight crime, I have a problem with that. We should all have a problem. That is not what the military is there for. This is not invasion. This is not taking down from within. None of that stuff. If the people out there are super like, yeah, Trump could do no wrong, and this is a great idea. Wrong. That's not what happens. And our people are not combatants. And that's not what we should be doing. We need to be real about this. Now, I know he trolls and he shit stirs. That's what he does. And he does it better than anybody in history. He should get an award for it. If they had an award at the Olympics, they'd give it to him. It would be, Trump just. But we've got to be real about the difference between, okay, you know what? Some of these ICE facilities have serious issues and there is a worry. Let's have a little bit of show of force over here, is different on the federal side of stuff than let's send people into a city and we'll have, the military fight the crime. Wrong. Shouldn't happen at all. And I think everybody knows that. Let me know what you think. Follow along with us across all of our social media. If you're if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Share with your friends. We appreciate that. It doesn't hurt anything just to go, hey, I'll subscribe to you and check you out. We appreciate it. We're going to do a longer one tomorrow. Talk a little bit more about AI, because the big controversy in Hollywood is Tilly Norwood, who is the actress that's not an actress, but it's an AI actress. And now all of the agencies are fighting over Tilly Norwood. And that's an interesting thing because I'll tell you, behind the scenes, as we deal with it on a daily basis, especially my uncle, and we have our company, we talk about this. So behind the scenes, compared to in front of everybody. The television production companies are like, oh, we'd never get rid of people. And then behind the scenes, they're like, so they don't get any pay? We just pay you a little something? Mm-hmm. They don't need anything to eat? No. They don't they work all the time? Yeah. They're not going to say anything stupid? No. They're just going to come in and just, on the computer and work. They're not going to be, crazy and start a fight with somebody? No. Nobody's going to get in trouble for offending them? No, it's not real. It's not real. So it's weird the way they're working that. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow, as well as 3i Atlas, because several people under impression that this is it. This thing's coming here. So get prepared, and it's coming here. And in it has monsters and aliens. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it is, but we're going to find out, right? One way or another, we're going to find out. And we're also talking about Rapture Part 2, because the guy who came up with Rapture last week said, I messed up. It's a Julian calendar, and I got it wrong. So it's actually October 6th and 7th. So if you haven't sold all your stuff yet, there's still time to sell it all. I don't know why you'd want to sell all your stuff. You're going to heaven. I don't know if you need money. I find that weird that you would, but a lot of people are thinking that's something they should do. I mean, you think you'd want to donate your stuff because you're being kind. So we'll talk about that and a bunch of other stuff. And tomorrow on the radio, got a ton of stuff to talk about as well. And tomorrow we're going to do something a little bit more in depth when it comes to Gaza. I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. I was exhausted. It's been one of those weekends over the last couple of days, just doing a bunch of stuff. But we're going to be on talking about Gaza, talking about the chaos that's going on over there and the battle right now that Israel is struggling with, because they are fighting a battle on the ground and a battle in the media and the social media world. They're losing, and they're trying to control the narrative, and they can't. Jig is up, and they can't do it, and they're struggling to do it. And no matter how many times you pay somebody who looks cute and goes, Israel's all of those things, this has nothing to do with Israel. It has nothing to do with the people of Israel. This has all to do with the government of Israel and what is going on there. We'll get deep into that tomorrow. Follow along again, all social media. Go to ChadBensonShow.com. We're going to be live tomorrow morning, 6 to 9 on the West Coast, 9 to noon on the East Coast. You guys have a blessed rest of your night. Later.